In a life defined by a fatal illness, the only world that mattered was the one on his screen. He poured his final days into the game, mastering its every facet. But death was not the end. He awoke in that same world, stripped of every achievement, every power. Now a novice in the land he once dominated, he faces a brutal new reality. To survive, he must not just play the game, he must conquer it. The story begins with Takuto, a young man confined to a hospital bed, whose only escape is an empire management strategy game called Eternal Nations. His dedication to the game is so profound that he literally dies while playing. However, death is not the end for him. Moments later, he awakens in a lush forest, seated upon a throne in what appears to be ancient ruins. The first thing he notices is the crisp, fresh air, a stark contrast to the sterile hospital environment. A beautiful woman with elven features approaches, asking if he is finally awake. Takuto instantly recognizes her as Atu, a character from his beloved game. To his bewilderment, Atu addresses him as Your Majesty, leaving him utterly confused. As a seasoned anime viewer, Takuto quickly deduces he has been transported into the world of Eternal Nations. Atu reveals that he is the first player ever to conquer the game's nightmare difficulty level using Minagra, the most challenging civilization. This achievement, she explains, has earned him a legendary status on the leaderboards. Takuto's confusion deepens. How could a game character possess such meta-knowledge? Atu clarifies that she remembers everything, every victory, every defeat, and every word he ever spoke to her through his computer screen. Tears well up in Takuto's eyes as he learns that his connection with his favorite character was not one-sided. He expresses his joy at finally being able to converse with her directly, and Atu reciprocates the sentiment. When he asks if she was the one who brought him here, she confesses her own ignorance, having found herself in this mysterious world only moments before him. Holding his hands, Atu encourages Takuto to start anew and build another empire, one where they can live together. With no other purpose, he agrees to share her ambition. As they shake on it, Atu playfully reverts to her in-game persona, introducing herself as Atu the Sludge, an illegitimate child of the ruined world, and vows her eternal loyalty. Though the evil character trope feels cliché and leaves them both slightly embarrassed, Takuto joins in the roleplay. He declares that with Atu as his right hand, he will establish the most infamous empire the world has ever known, Minagra. Their first order of business, as any good Minagra ruler would know, is to remain hidden. To this end, Takuto summons an emergency production scout, a grotesque, long-legged bug befitting the evil and ruinous nature of his civilization. He commands the scout to survey their surroundings, a task Atu emphasizes it must not fail. Through a shared vision with the scout, Takuto realizes that the mechanics of this new world mirror those of the game. He explains to Atu that summoning the scout cost him 100 of his 200 magic power. He contemplates using the remaining MP to establish a base or summon a warrior, though the latter is currently beyond his means. Atu, a hero unit, is strong in combat, but her power level is a mere 3 at this early stage. The scout's reconnaissance reveals an endless expanse of trees, an ideal location for their hidden base. However, Atu notes the unsettling absence of wildlife or food. As it's too risky to move, Takuto sends the scout to survey a wider area. Feeling useless, Atu is comforted by Takuto, who assures her that her presence alone is more than enough. Touched by his words, she finds herself falling for him. The scout soon discovers a camp of dark elves. Wary of trespassing and inviting conflict, Takuto resolves to observe them from a distance. But their plans are abruptly thwarted when 3 dark elves stumble upon their location, leaving them in a precarious situation. The dark elves, led by Captain Gia, are not hostile. They have been exiled from their city and have led their people deep into this cursed forest for safety. Their journey has left them without food, and their children are starving. Gia, burdened by the weight of his people's survival, had been wandering the forest in a desperate search for sustenance. Sensing Takuto and Atu's presence, Gia panics, fearing an attack. He knows that the fate of his race rests on his next move. Upon seeing the enigmatic, black-clad Takuto and the elven Atu, Gia and his soldiers immediately drop to their knees, admitting their trespass. Atu sternly questions their presence in the Forbidden Land. Gia recounts their tragic tale of banishment and starvation, his anxiety palpable under Atu's cold gaze. To his astonishment, Takuto simply asks if he is hungry. After a moment of hesitation, Gia affirms that he is. In response, Takuto materializes several apples. Gia, having never seen such a fruit, is initially bewildered. As his soldiers begin to eat, Takuto produces pears as well. The Dark Elves have always faced hostility, and this act of unprompted kindness leaves Gia suspicious. He declares his intention to take the food back to the children, but before he can finish, Takuto summons even more fruit. The children in the Dark Elf camp are on the verge of death when Gia and his team return with a bounty of food, bringing with them a renewed sense of hope. As the camp feasts, Gia reflects on the mysterious figure he encountered. Later, an elder named Molter questions Gia about the origin of the strange, delicious fruit. Gia explains that he met a legend in the forest. Molter wonders if this could be the mythical king of ruins, a figure from ancient tales said to bring destruction. He presses Gia, asking what he offered in return for the food, convinced that no dark being would give something for nothing. Gia insists it was an act of pure benevolence from the Great One. Their debate concludes with Molter vowing to handle any future negotiations with their mysterious benefactor. Meanwhile, Atu is furious with Takuto for squandering his precious mana on strangers. She reminds him of the uncertain future and the battles they may face. He admits he acted out of pity and confesses his shyness around the Dark Elves, which Atu had mistaken for regal role-playing. Their playful bickering is interrupted by the return of the scout, its survey complete, leaving them to ponder their next move in this strange new world. And that's the end of the first episode of Apocalypse Bringer Minegra. Thank you so much for staying on this channel and watching our videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you updated with our latest content. See you in the next video. This anime kicks off with our protagonist, Todo, and his 3 companions. But the curious thing is, all 3 of them, yes, all 3 are out to kill him. Okay, hold on. To understand why, we need to go over here, where Seal, the daughter of the leader who rules the demon world, is getting a mission from her dad. It's a mission that will grant her independence once she completes it. He tells her there are many heroes trying to annihilate the demons, so she just has to take out one of the best. Her target is none other than our main character. With this mission, Seal has finally been able to leave her home and go out into the world. So she's super excited to finish off this hero, and, while she's at it, try as many human-made sweets as she can. On the other hand, we have Anemone, a professional assassin who gets paid very well for every job she completes. In fact, she has a new target, and part of the mission is to dress up as a priestess. She gets angry when she hears this and warns them that she won't do it, no matter how much they pay her, unless the reward is 1 million yen, so she changes her mind immediately. Finally, there's Gore, a gal with some pretty weird and, frankly, over-the-top tastes. She's just been told that if she's looking for someone to punish, a certain guy might interest her. In the town of Fromner, at the Adventurers Guild, our hero asks some rookies if they need help, since he, a strong and kind hero, could assist them. The protagonist is so famous that they immediately notice his presence and are surprised to see him in person. Everyone wants to go on adventures with him. But wait, that's just what Todo wishes would happen. In reality, he offers to help the rookie adventurers, and they run away in fear. He knows he can't count on anyone today, so he's about to go check the job board, until these 3 suddenly appear and ask if he wants to form a party with them. Obviously, each of the girls wants to get Todo alone so they can take him out as soon as possible, but the people around them think they actually want to form a party of 4. They're clearly jealous, but our hero doesn't care that they're 3 attractive girls. He just wants to fulfill his dream of going on adventures with companions, and now it's finally coming true. The others warn the girls that teaming up with Todo is a bad idea, but Gore couldn't care less and declares that from now on, he belongs only to her. This makes our hero's head explode, because it turns out he's super shy, awkward, and not used to being around women. The 3 of them immediately go on high alert, thinking this is a good opportunity to annihilate him. The first to act is Seal, who uses her magic to teleport him away, but obviously, the other 2 aren't going to let their prey get away. In fact, Anemone is grateful they're outside, since now she can use her long-range attack without any issues. But of course, for Seal, repelling that attack with her magic is no big deal. Gore is surprised by the combat skills of the other 2, but she doesn't really care because in the end, the world always ends up bowing at her feet. Seal tells them to back off because the hero now belongs to her, but Anemone isn't having it. Gore steps in between them and asks them all to calm down, saying it's best to talk it out with a temporary truce. The others agree, but immediately, Gore's special anesthetic starts to take effect, and now everyone is about to become her mindless puppet. However, Seal tells her she just ruined everything because she was in the middle of a summoning. Now that she's been interrupted, she can't control what comes out. And yup, we're talking about a dark spider dragon. Anemone tells her to do something about that thing, but the shorty can't thanks to Gore. Since the blonde wants to run away, the girls use their last bit of energy to catch her and get the antidote so they can deal with the monster. But it seems it's already too late. The beast attacks, but Toto, with a single blow, knocks it out cold. Wow, this guy is incredibly strong. The three of them immediately thank him for saving them, but once again, Toto has fainted. Anemone asks if they could just finish him off right now, but Seal thinks they should leave him alone for today, since she used up a lot of energy with the summoning. Besides, she admits that Toto was pretty impressive with what he just did. Anemone agrees, so Gore suggests they go to Tossakune, a city famous for its sweets, so they can eat something and introduce themselves. Just hearing the word sweets is enough for Seal to say yes, since she has a lot to try before going back home. Anemone also accepts, wanting to first figure out if these two are friends or enemies. Gore, obviously, suggested this to get them to lower their guard so she can start planning her counterattack. Once in the city, sitting down and eating, Seal is the first to introduce herself. Obviously, she can't say she's a demon, so she tells them she wants to become an expert mage. Anemone introduces herself as a priestess who helps people and Gore as an ordinary dancer. Our hero, on the other hand, introduces himself as the hero Toto, who is traveling to defeat the Dark Lord and become a true man. The girls go crazy hearing this and hope they can count on him. But again, all of this just happened in his head. In reality, the guy is completely silent because he's so shy. In a low voice, he says he will protect them. Gore congratulates him for introducing himself, but once again, the guy faints. Two things surprise me about this guy. He looks like Bart Simpson, and his head is so small. What the heck is up with that? It's really weird to see. Now that the hero is knocked out, Seal confesses that she's the daughter of the Dark Lord and came for Toto's head. Anemone says the hero is her target, period. Gore says she's the owner of a place called the House of Pleasure and wants the protagonist as her new pet. Immediately, Anemone says she's out, that none of this is worth it, so she'll leave him to the other two. However, we see here that's a lie, as she actually plans to take Toto out from another part of the city. To do this, she'll use a long-range weapon, but while searching for him, she ends up finding a slave or something she's not about to let slide. So she throws a smoke bomb, rescues the girl, and even gives her money so she can have a good life. However, the slaver turns out to be a monster and wants revenge for what just happened. Anemone isn't about to let this guy get away with it, so she starts attacking him. You can tell this girl is really strong because the destruction from the battle is starting to spread across much of the city. This Shrek-looking guy wants to know who the hell she is, and Anemone clarifies that he doesn't need to know, just that she loves to drink and hates slavers. The monster knows this won't be easy, so he decides to get serious and finally shows his true power. Anemone is in trouble now, as the guy is very dangerous. But guess who just showed up to give him what he deserves? She asks him what the heck he's doing here, and Toto reminds her that he swore to protect all of them. He does, however, want to know what she's doing with that thing in her hand, but Anemone doesn't know what to say, so she just blows him a kiss, which leaves him in shock. She'll figure out an excuse later. The other two saw everything and start teasing her, but Seal wants to know why she didn't just take out the enemy from a distance when she had the chance. Anemone explains that it would have been horrible for the little girl to see something like that up close. Out of nowhere, she blurts out that this world is rotten, and she wants to change it. But to do that, she first needs money, which she'll get by finishing off the hero. Right, the world is rotten, and you make a living killing people. The point is, even while knocked out, the protagonist stopped her attack, so Anemone, dying of embarrassment, says she wants to go rest. Gore suggests going to an inn, but since she only asks for one bed, Anemone prefers to get her own room. Oh, and yeah, our hero is out cold again. Gore thinks Seal is still too young, so she recommends she get another room. The demon knows it's true and leaves, confident that Gore won't be able to take out the hero. The blonde is aware of this, but she comments that her goal isn't to kill him, but to tame him as her pet. That's why, after giving him her potion, she thinks he'll be her pet in 5 minutes. But after taking a bath and coming out to see if it worked perfectly, she notices Toto is still in shock. She's not one to give up, so she uses her ability to wake him up with punches, but that doesn't work either. In fact, the hero is unconsciously fighting against Gore's power, to the point that he wakes up, sees the situation, and faints again. Man, at this rate, the protagonist is going to miss his own anime. Because of this, the others have come over, and Seal thinks Gore simply doesn't have the strength needed to tame Toto. Anemone thinks the shorty wouldn't get it, but Seal warns her not to treat her like a child, because as a demon, she has lived many more years than both of them combined. Gore asks if they aren't afraid of her, since she loves to manipulate and take advantage of people, but the other two just laugh, thinking her powers are a joke, and that if she tried anything against them, she'd be in for a world of hurt. This leaves the blonde speechless. But now the argument over who gets to take out the hero is between these two, who don't hesitate to go into attack mode right in the middle of the inn. Since Gore suggests not fighting, Seal agrees and decides to solve this peacefully with games and food. She confesses that she's never been allowed to do these kinds of things, and that's why she wants to make the most of it, because she's having a lot of fun. And so, a little while later, the three of them start playing some games. Hours later, Toto wakes up and starts to think that the whole thing with the 3 girls joining his party was just a dream, because it's impossible for something so good to happen to him. Unless it really is true, and what do you know, he faints again. And that's the end of the first episode of The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princesses. Thank you so much for staying on this channel and watching our videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you updated with our latest content. See you in the next video.